Both Lewis soccer teams traveled south last weekend, and the women's volleyball team continues to pick up victories. We'll have the latest in Lewis athletics coming up right now. Hello and welcome to Flyer Nation, your source for the latest news in Lewis athletics. Thanks for joining us here on LUTN and online. I'm Shane Gustafson.
And I'm Natalie Budig. Joining us later on in the show is Lewis head women's soccer coach Chris Koenig. He'll talk about his team finishing up a long road trip as well as what we can expect from the team this weekend.
We'll also talk with Nick Skrip from the Lewis men's soccer team. He'll talk about his road trip as well as what the team plans to do this weekend when they return home. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some other Flyer sports headlines. The Lewis women's volleyball team went on the road this weekend and picked up a few more victories to add to their record. On Friday night, the team traveled to McKendree to take on the Bearcats. The Flyers found themselves down early on in the first set, but came back to take the lead. Senior Kim Verton led the team with 11 kills, while junior Alexis DeVito picked up 9. Senior Amy Choi picked up 11 digs, and the Flyers swept McKendree 3-0. On Saturday night, the team traveled to Illinois Springfield to take on the Prairie Stars. The team picked up where they left off the night before, and the ladies picked up 56 digs throughout the match. Once again, Alexis DeVito led the team with 19 kills, while freshman Allie Schneider picked up 12 kills in the contest. The Flyers picked up the 3-0 sweep over UIS and extended their winning streak to 5. Head coach Laura Lee Smith says the bench was a key in the game, and the Flyers' defense was strong. The team is back in action on Tuesday night as they welcome UW Parkside to the Neil Carey Arena. First serve is set for 7 o'clock and can be seen right here on LUTN.
The Lewis women's soccer team played on the road this weekend to take on two GLVC opponents. The women's soccer team traveled to Evansville, Indiana yesterday to take on Southern Indiana, and the Flyers tied 0-0 even after 2 periods of overtime. Goaltender Mara Bennett had 8 saves for the Flyers, with 3 of those saves being in overtime. Head coach Chris Koenig said that he was happy with how the group defended and that the team adjusted well after falling behind in their game on Friday. On Friday, the Flyers took on UIS at home and finished with a 2-2 tie after 2 periods of overtime. Jenny Coolin scored the first goal at the 31-minute mark and was assisted by Jessica Chavez. Lauren Grady, assisted by Maggie Moran, then scored the second goal at the 60-minute mark. And Lewis outshot UIS in overtime, but weren't able to take the win. The Flyers take on McKendree on October 3rd next.
The Lewis men's soccer team also hit the road this weekend and played both Illinois Springfield and Southern Indiana as well. The team had a slow start to the game and went scoreless throughout the entire first half of action. At the 66-minute mark, senior Luke Komrowski kicked in his first goal of the season to give the Flyers the lead. Just a few minutes later, senior David Pyle put in a goal to extend the Flyers' lead. The team didn't allow any goals from Illinois Springfield, and goalkeeper Omar Ramirez made 3 saves, leading to the Flyers' 2-0 victory. On Sunday, the team traveled to Southern Indiana to continue GLVC play. Southern Indiana scored the first goal in the 85th minute of action, and the Flyers couldn't respond and eventually dropped the game. The loss snapped the Flyers' 6-game winning streak. The team will be back in action this weekend when they welcome in McKendree and Bellarmine to the Lewis Stadium.
The Lewis women's tennis team reached the Sweet 16 in singles and doubles matches at the ITA Midwest Regional Women's Tennis Championships last Friday. In singles, Anna Bonick defeated Ohio Dominicans Alejandra Gonzalez and Tiffin's Bianca Avram. Bonick then teamed up with Nora Mind Iorova to take on a pair from Alderson Brodeus, an Ohio Dominican, leaving both matches victorious. The Flyers then traveled to Allensdale, Michigan over the weekend and take part in the USTA ITA Midwest Regional Championships, but unfortunately the team didn't leave with any victories. Bonick took on Michigan Tech but lost 7-6 and 6-2 in singles. Mind Iorova then teamed up with Bonick to take on a pair from Northwood University but fell 8-4. Lewis will head to Lawrenceville, Georgia on October 17th to participate in the Grizzly Open.
The Lewis women's cross-country team had a reason to celebrate over the weekend when one of their runners won the Brisman-LUTN Invitational for the first time in 4 years. Redshirt junior Kristen Bosner won the race with a time of 21:44, the best time for a Flyer at the event since 2010. Despite the strong running from Bosner, the team placed 8th overall at the competition, with the University of Chicago taking the title. Lewis head cross-country coach James Carney says he's pleased with the team's efforts this weekend and says he's excited to see what the team can do moving forward in the season. The ladies will be back in action on Saturday as they head to Kentucky to take place in the Greater Louisville Classic, hosted by Bellarmine University.
The Lewis women's golf team played this weekend at the NCAA Division II National Preview Tournament in Allendale, Michigan. After the first day of play, the team sat in 8th place at the 26-team tournament with a score of 327. Sophomore Melissa Van Sistine turned in a team low 78 and placed 11th overall in the competition. Sophomore Rachel Sweeney placed 30th overall and shot an 82 for the team. The ladies played day number 2 on Sunday, and Sweeney helped the team by hitting a 79 on the day. Overall, the Flyers finished in 9th place in the competition. The team will play again next Monday when they compete in the Cougar Fall Invitational, hosted by Chicago State University. Well, all of the Lewis teams were on the road this past weekend, but we're looking to have them here at home next weekend.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have them come back, and especially the soccer team. They've been on the road for 2 weeks now. Both teams, they'll be happy to come back, I'm sure.
It'll be good. They'll hopefully be coming home to a lot of Lewis Flyer fans in the stands waiting for them.
I'm sure they will. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Lewis head women's soccer coach Chris Koenig. Don't go away.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Yes, I am.
Give it to him hard.
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh, you got...
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We beg to differ. They are snapshots that represent lasting memories, stories to be told for years to come. Our story is one pictured not just with trophies, but with diplomas, friendships, a helping hand. New chapters beginning every season. This is the story of the Great Lakes Valley Conference.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. Over the weekend, the Lewis women's soccer team finished up a 4-game road trip, taking on GLVC opponents Illinois Springfield and Southern Indiana. Here to talk about the weekend as well as the rest of the women's soccer season as a whole is head women's soccer coach Chris Koenig. Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So I guess we'll start off talking about this weekend. How did the games at Illinois Springfield and Southern Indiana turn out?
They were 2 very difficult games on the road. Illinois Springfield actually, I thought, brought a good side to the match, and difficult being the second road trip in 2 weeks to go into 2 overtime games. Unfortunately, Friday we found ourselves kind of in a position that we've seen a couple of times so far this year, which is we started out really well, created several chances. Goalkeeper made a couple of stops. We hit the crossbar, and then kind of against the run of play, they come down and score a goal, and so we have to chase the game a little bit. And I give our girls credit; they battled back each time they got that tying goal, and unfortunately, we couldn't get it done in overtime, even though we had some opportunities. Sunday, same thing. Although I think our focus was a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball, and really wanted to try to get a clean sheet. So out of the weekend, taking that as a positive, we made a couple adjustments. The girls did well with some personnel changes, and it was good to get the clean sheet in that last game, going another overtime.
So you mentioned the games going into overtime. The game against Illinois Springfield yesterday went into double overtime. What's it like for the ladies to play such tough games going into, such long games going into double overtime?
Well, and that's the difficult part, especially the second or the third and fourth games of a 4-game road trip, to have both of them go overtime. We didn't have a lot left in the tank yesterday, and so this week is going to be a lot about recovery and getting ready for finally being at home this weekend for homecoming, and we're looking forward to that. But I'm proud of the way the girls gutted it out this weekend, because it was mid to upper 80s yesterday, and to go into another double overtime game, I thought we were organized, we defended pretty well, and created some chances, so it was a good match.
So the team's record so far this year is 1-4-2. The only victory so far this season against Missouri S&T. So as a coach, what's it like to try to keep the team motivated? You're almost at the halfway point of the season. How do you keep the team motivated?
Well, I think one of the things that we do, whether we're in a situation where we're looking at this record or in the last couple of years where we've been on kind of the other side of it, is we're not focusing a whole lot on those numbers. We're focusing on the performances that we're putting out and what things do we need to work on and adjust every day. This weekend's a good example. I think we can't find ourselves chasing games, and we've been putting ourselves in good positions to score goals. And I think seeing us play well defensively yesterday was a positive, so we want to build on that. And in terms of motivation, I think the girls realize that there's a lot of soccer left to be played, and a good weekend at home this weekend puts us right back in the mix for postseason, and so nobody's losing sight of that.
So last year the team went 8-7-2 with victories over some really tough GLVC opponents. Mm-hmm. What can you guys take from last year's success and bring into the rest of the season?
Well, I just think experience. I think one of the things having some kids that were underclassmen the last couple of years who had an impact on us, and now being in a position where they have a little bit more of a leadership responsibility. They know that this season is a grind, and I think having those kids in the locker room and knowing that there's still a lot to play for, and that we're pretty close to having things clicking, that I don't see anybody taking their foot off the gas at this point. We're focused squarely on McKendree this weekend, and expect a good performance, and go into the second half of the season strong, and try to put a run together for postseason.
So in the GLVC is usually split up into two different conferences. In soccer, it isn't. Everybody plays in the same conference. So you're taking on some teams that, you take pretty much every team in the GLVC. What's that like for the team to have so many different opponents throughout the season? Because that has to be kind of difficult to figure out and remember which team plays which way. Right.
Well, it's a challenge. The GLVC is one of the top Division II conferences for women's soccer, and so every week is going to be a battle. This is a good example this last weekend. I think there's so much parity in the league that you really have to prepare well for each week, and you really have to figure out how to get your team to just live in the moment. Because if you're too focused on a game from a week ago, or a big game that you have coming up 2 weeks from now, you're going to put yourself in a position to possibly not be successful in that next match. So right now, like I said, our plan is to prepare as well as we can for McKendree this weekend and get a good scouting report, and we head in with the intention of having a good performance and get a good result Friday night.
So there's some new faces on the team. There's 7 freshmen on this year's roster. What's it like working with such a big number of new students?
Yeah. There's positives and difficulties with it. Getting a new group in and trying to build that team chemistry. One of the biggest things that we've dealt with, and unfortunately several of them were freshmen this year, is coming out of preseason, the number of injuries that we dealt with. Looking at probably five players redshirting this year because of injuries, and several of them were freshmen. So, disappointed to not be able to work with those kids, on a daily basis and see them impact the team. But the players that are, healthy and in the squad are doing, what they can to contribute and help us continue to move forward.
So the team has 2 home games this weekend, which you mentioned, one against McKendree, and then there's another home game. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to, and the team's looking forward to, returning home from a long road trip, finally getting to play back here at home?
Well, I think just getting in front of your fans, having a good environment for that night game Friday night is always huge. Our matches with McKendree are always a battle, so we're looking forward to that. And to be honest, just being on the road, 8 of the last 11 days, it is really, it takes it out of you. And so right now I think it's just getting our legs back, kind of getting back into a normal routine where you're at home, you're sleeping in your own bed and going to classes. And so we need to do that pretty quickly and get them acclimated to it. And we're excited to be at home again this weekend.
All right, was there anything else that you'd like to add, Coach, while you're here today?
Just like I said, this weekend's a big weekend for us. And so, being in a position where we have a lot to play for going into the second half. Hopefully we can get a good turnout for our homecoming match and see a lot of alumni out there and put out a good performance for everybody.
All right, well, thanks for joining us today, Coach.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
Not a problem. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk with Nick Skrip of the Lewis men's soccer team. Stay tuned.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We beg to differ. They are snapshots that represent lasting memories, stories to be told for years to come. Our story is one pictured not just with trophies, but with diplomas, friendships, a helping hand. New chapters beginning every season. This is the story of the Great Lakes Valley Conference.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
The Lewis men's soccer team played on the road for the second weekend in a row last week, taking on 2 GLVC opponents. The team picked up a victory over Illinois Springfield on Friday, but broke their 6-game winning streak on Sunday, losing to Southern Indiana. Here to talk about the weekend and the team is Lewis senior defender and team captain, Nick Skrip. Thanks for joining us today, Nick. So I guess we'll go ahead and start talking about the weekend. You and the team just returned home from playing UIS and Southern Indiana. How do you think the weekend went overall for the team?
Well, Friday we got a good result against Springfield, beat them 2-0. We had goals from Luke and David, but Sunday we didn't get the same kind of result. Ended up losing our first conference game to Southern Indy. So overall, not as good as we were set out to do.
So you mentioned, unfortunately, losing that game yesterday against Southern Indiana that broke the 6-game winning streak. As a team, what is it like to lose a 6-game winning streak?
Well, it's frustrating. Just working hard each week and having goals of doing well in the conference when it comes to standings. But at the same time, losing a game like that just shows that we do have some room to improve and we have things to work on. This upcoming week at practice, so it really motivates us just to work even harder and get back on track.
So you've spent the past 2 weekends on the road, and that has to be tough for you as a player and as a team to adjust to so many games, 4 games away from Lewis. How do you guys adjust to that?
Well, some of us are used to being on the road, while others this is their first year at Lewis, but we definitely have a lot of away games this year, but definitely is an adjustment having to miss some classes and travel on the bus and stay at a hotel, but at the same time, it's just something that we as individuals and as a team have to make and just make sure that we're prepared for the games, no matter if we're at home or on the road like we've been so much this season.
So that you guys return home this weekend. You're playing at home on Friday and Sunday. What's the feeling like being able to come home and play at your own field in front of your home crowd?
It's always nice being back home because you like training on the field or playing on the field that you train on all week, and your family's able to come to the game, and friends from back at school. So it's always nice to come back home to the place you're comfortable at.
So you're a senior on the team this year, and you're also one of the captains of the team. From your perspective, what's the overall feel of the team this year? We've heard in the past that the teams have been close. Would you say that's the feel again this year?
Oh, definitely. We have a lot of guys returning from last year's team, and we also added a good group of guys this season. I definitely think we're a really deep team. We have guys who start the game that are very talented and work hard, and at the same time we have guys who can also jump on the field and get the job done at the same time. We really have a really close feel for our team, really good family setting, and we are very close as a team, so I think we definitely have a good squad this year.
So we talked with Coach Feifels a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that there's 5 freshmen on this year's team. How are they fitting in with everybody else?
I think the freshmen have made a good transition from high school to the college game, and I think they're really meshing in well with the team. Again, we try to have that family setting, and with these guys who came in, it's like they've been here, for a lot longer than they have. I think they're fitting in well, and they're just as close as the guys with the guys now that have already been on the team.
So this weekend marks the halfway point of the regular season for you guys. The team's sitting near the top of the standings in the conference. What are you guys looking to do in the second half of the season to try and stay where you're at right now?
Well, just as Coach has told us before, we do have room to improve in all aspects of our game. So just looking to continue to find what we need to work on and improve in all aspects of the game, and then just find that consistency week to week to keep going strong and complete our goal of finishing at the top of the table.
So if any Lewis fans come out this weekend to watch you guys play, what are some of the things that they can expect to see?
I think they can expect to see a team that's just going to be hungry to get back on board and to get some good results and keep moving forward. So.
All right, well, Nick, is there anything else you'd like to add while you're here today?
No, I just hope that with these games this week, we have a good turnout, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back here on Flyer Nation.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We beg to differ. They are snapshots that represent lasting memories, stories to be told for years to come. Our story is one pictured not just with trophies, but with diplomas, friendships, a helping hand. New chapters beginning every season. This is the story of the Great Lakes Valley Conference.
No more pencils, No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out!
For summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. All of our Lewis teams continue to see success early in the season. Let's check out the standings to see where the teams sit. We'll start with the Lewis women's volleyball team, who is sitting right at the top of their list. The ladies are tied for first place in the conference with Indianapolis. However, the Flyers do have the better overall record, 10-2. The Flyers' next opponent, UW Parkside, sits in fourth place with a 6-5 overall record.
Both of our Lewis soccer teams continue to see success and continue to be one of the better teams in their conference. Let's take a look at where they're currently sitting. The men's team is still sitting at the top of the standings despite their loss to Southern Indiana over the weekend. The men are sitting in fourth place just behind Rockhurst. Quincy and UMSL lead the conference and are sitting in the number 1 and 2 positions. Meanwhile, the women's soccer team didn't move up in their standings after tying twice this weekend. The ladies are sitting in 12th place in the conference. UW Parkside, Bellarmine, and Rockhurst are sitting in the top 3 positions overall.
It's time for our weekly Player of the Week awards. The GLVC has named James Fredrickson of the Lewis men's cross-country team the runner of the week. Fredrickson had a career best time of just over 25 minutes last week at the National Catholic Championships and finished in 6th place overall.
As for our Flyer Nation Players of the Week, we'll start with Jenny Coughlin of the Lewis women's soccer team. Coughlin scored her first goal of the season over the weekend in the Flyers' tie with Illinois Springfield and helped lead the team into a double overtime period.
Our second Flyer Nation Player of the Week is Kristen Bosner of the Lewis cross-country team. Bosner came in first place at the Brisbane-Lundin Invite for the first time in 10 years to help the Flyers place 8th overall in the competition. It's nice to see that the Lewis women's volleyball team is at the top of the standings, especially so early on in the season.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, like you said, so early in the season, and they have upcoming games at home, so hopefully they can add to their success. And the men's soccer team, too, sitting in the top of the standings, too. So a lot of Flyers teams doing well so far.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on Flyer Nation.
Do you think he's on his way? He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's
try.
down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We beg to differ. They are snapshots that represent lasting memories, stories to be told for years to come. Our story is one pictured not just with trophies, but with diplomas, friendships, a helping hand. New chapters beginning every season. This is the story of the Great Lakes Valley Conference.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
There weren't too many Lewis home games last weekend, but there are plenty of games on campus this week. Let's take a look at the schedule. On Tuesday night, the women's volleyball team will play UW Parkside at 7 o'clock. You can listen to that game on our radio station, WLRA 88.1 FM, or watch it right here on LUTN Channel 6. Both Lewis soccer teams will play McKendree on Friday night at the Lewis Stadium. The men's game will start at 5 o'clock and the women will play at 7:30. You can catch that game right here on LUTN Channel 6 as well as lewisflyers.com. The women's volleyball team will play on Friday night and Saturday night on the road. The team will play Bellarmine on Friday and Southern Indiana on Saturday. And then, of course, on Sunday, the Lewis soccer teams will play Bellarmine at the Lewis Stadium. The women will play at noon. The men will play at 2 o'clock.
If you can't make it out to see the Flyers play in person, you can always watch the games live here on LUTN Channel 6 or online at lewisflyers.com. This Friday night, our radio station WLRA 88.1 FM will be back with another Friday Night Lights high school football game of the week. Be sure to tune in on 88.1 FM or online at WLRAradio.com to catch the game as well as Lewis University Athletics and Lewis Club Hockey. Well, like we mentioned earlier, it's nice to see that all of the teams will be at home this weekend, and the women's volleyball team will be playing tomorrow night, so it'll be good to have the Flyers at home.
Yeah, exactly, and everybody can come out and watch the team, and it'll be nice for the teams to be at home instead of being on the road. It has to be tough playing so many games on the road.
Right, absolutely. You know, you can only stay in hotels so many times before it just gets old.
Yeah, it really does. Well, anyways, that will wrap it up for us this week here on Flyer Nation. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to join us right here next week for all the latest in the Lewis Flyer athletics.
From all of us here at Flyer Nation, have a great day.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to Make-A-Wish.
Division II student athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million have been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted.
We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.